I've been following Earthship since the mid-90s. And during that time, they've kind of come a long way, but only in about the last 6 or 7 years have they really got all the bugs work out of them, where they really work great. And at that point, I kind of wanted to start convincing my wife that we might want to kind of move in that direction. And so we went up to Taos in the middle of the winter, and it was a low of about 14 that night with a north wind at about 30 miles an hour, and we were in a house with no heat. And I just thought, but they're supposed to heat themselves with the sun in the wintertime. And I got there, and my wife, I was expecting, is Elizabeth, are you here? Yeah. No, she's not here yet. Anyway, my wife, if she sees snow on television, she goes to get a sweatshirt, right? So it's 14 degrees and a 30-mile-an-hour north wind, and I thought, I'm never going to get to build one of these for myself because it's going to be too cold in there. And I woke up the next morning, and it was 72 degrees inside. And I swung my feet out on the bare concrete floor, and the concrete floor was about 74. And at 8:30 in the morning, we were starting to open windows, and it was in the mid-20s outside because the solar heating system works so well. And as I thought about that, I said, man, I want one of these, but a lot of our veterans need these. Because a lot of folks, even if you get them in a house, they can't afford the utility bills. Get them in a trailer, their utility bills are $350 a month, right? And so I thought, man, if we could do something to build simple Earthships for veterans in need, I just thought, what a great deal. And I sat down with Gloria and Amanda and brainstormed and said, what would we call it? How to get going? And as time went on, kind of the name Foxhole Homes kind of rolled in. We thought that works, that makes kind of sense, and kind of the idea was born. I went to the Earthship Academy myself and kind of got the technical training on how to do this. At about January this year, we started the process of becoming a 501c3, which we've completed at this point. So any donations are tax deductible, right? Any donations are tax deductible. Yeah, Jack, get with us. We owe you a tax deduction receipt. And we started moving forward on Earth Day. Actually, on Earth Day itself is the day we got our approval back in the mail from the IRS. But we had a booth out at Earth Day, and Daniel walked by at the end of the day and he said, "You guys, this looks like a great idea. Do you have land yet?" And we were like, "No, we're just getting started." He's like, "When you guys clean up from here, come out to the house," right? And that's how this partnership was born. And so as we're getting started here, Daniel's long-term vision for this location is 6 buildings. We're going to do 2 of these that are tiny houses, less than 120 square feet, a la don't have to have a permit to build it, right? Because it's kind of the size of a garden shed, right? And so you can build that without the full-blown construction process. And then if you look out south from here, you'll see some little red flags sticking up. That's the stake out for 4 additional buildings that will include kind of a community center, kind of a flat for one person, a 1-bedroom and a 2-bedroom place over the long term. What we'll be doing there is applying to have 2 acres right there designated as a sustainable development testing site. That's a unique law in the state of New Mexico that allows you to take 2 acres and build kind of outside the conventional norms. Basically what you do is, it's like getting something rezoned. You go to the county and you say, here's the space that we're doing, this is what we want to do, this is how it differs from conventional construction, and yet this is how it meets or actually exceeds the intent of the codes in the process. And at that point, it goes through, public review. People get to complain, ask questions, do all that stuff. Goes to a vote for at the county level, and then we can have 2 acres at a time designated as a testing site. And that allows us to really push the limits of what we can do with buildings, and yet have it under the watchful eye of engineers and inspectors, so that as we go through that process, we're not making any major missteps, and they've evaluated it. And so at the end of that process, if they say, you know what, this isn't anything that we've seen before, but it works, then we can begin to have that be a normal exception to code. And then that allows that technology, those methods, to be used in normal construction in the area. And so that is our long-term goal. We're going to be running these testing sites and pushing the limits of how far down we can drive the cost of a building, yet keeping the performance of the building where the utility costs are near zero.